Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so European IFR airspace. It can seem, well, incredibly complex when you first look at it, right? Especially if you're tackling the instrument rating. All these terms like Class A, CCTRs, TMAs, it feels like a lot just to plan your flight in, say, a typical Cessna. Today, we're going to try and unravel that. Focus on what really counts for you up there.
Exactly. And look, our mission here isn't just, exam prep fodder. We want to pull out the stuff that genuinely matters for your general aviation IFR flight. Think of it like this. What do you actually need to know sitting in the cockpit beyond the textbook answers?
That sounds perfect. Just what's needed. So, where do we start? The basic classes, A through G. For someone working on their BIR, like our listeners, what's the core thing to grasp about how these affect an IFR flight?
Good question. Let's break it down. Think of these classes almost like different levels of ATC service or protection. Okay, Class A. You mainly find this way up high. Flight level 195 and above, so 19,500 feet pressure altitude. Key thing, it's IFR only. And ATC gives full separation to everyone, no VFR allowed.
Right. So for most typical GA flying, like in a C-172 or PA-28, we're unlikely to be up in Class A very often.
Exactly. It's important to know it exists, above you, potentially, but you probably won't be operating in it much. Now, Class C, this is much more relevant for us.
Okay.
Both IFR and VFR flights are permitted here, but, and this is the important bit, ATC separates all traffic. IFR from IFR, IFR from VFR, and VFR from VFR.
Ah, so everyone gets kept apart by ATC.
Correct. So what that means in your cockpit is you'll get clearances, vectors, altitude assignments. ATC is actively managing the space for everyone. You still need to keep your eyes open, obviously, but ATC has that primary separation duty.
Got it. Full service separation at C. Okay, what about Class D then? I feel like the responsibility changes a bit there.
You're absolutely right, it does. In Class D, again, IFR and VFR are allowed. But ATC only provides separation between IFR aircraft.
Only IFR from IFR.
Yes. VFR flights. They just get traffic information about other VFR and IFR traffic, but no positive separation from ATC.
Okay, that's a huge difference. So if I'm IFR in Class D, ATC keeps me away from other IFR planes.
Correct.
But that VFR traffic crossing my path, ATC might tell me about them, but it's ultimately on me to see and avoid.
Precisely. That's a critical point. I've seen pilots get complacent, thinking I'm IFR, ATC handles everything. Not in Class D regarding VFR. Keep looking outside. Examiners care about the definition, but that practical point is what matters in flight.
That's a really vital takeaway. Okay, so that clarifies D. Now, Class E, this one always felt a little ambiguous.
Yeah, E can feel that way. Like D, it allows both IFR and VFR. And like D, APC separates IFR traffic from other IFR traffic.
Okay.
But for VFR traffic, they receive traffic information. The rulebook says, as far as practical.
As far as practical, that sounds flexible.
It is. What it means in reality is ATC might tell you about VFR traffic if they see it and have time, but it's not their primary mandate like it is for separating IFR. It's more of a workload permitting service.
So even more emphasis on see and avoid for VFR in Class E than in D.
Definitely. Don't count on ATC always calling out VFR traffic in Class E. Your responsibility for avoiding VFR is very much, well, yours. And then you have Class F and G. These are basically uncontrolled or sometimes advisory airspace.
Right. The Wild West sometimes.
Well, maybe not quite, but IFR is still permitted. The key difference is minimal or no ATC separation service. If you're IFR in Class G, for example, and there's no radar service, you are entirely responsible for self-separation from all other traffic.
So pilot responsibility goes way up.
Way up. Your planning, your weather checks, sticking to your route, and altitudes, that becomes paramount. What this means in the cockpit, you are your own air traffic controller in many respects.
Okay, that covers the main classes. But then there are those specific bits of airspace, usually around airports, that have their own names. CTRs, TMAs.
Yes. Crucial elements for any IFR flight, especially arrivals and departures. Let's talk CTR first, the control zone. This is the chunk of airspace right around an airport, starting at the surface and going up to a specific altitude.
The airport's immediate vicinity.
Exactly. And the absolute key rule, IFR flight requires an ATC clearance to enter, leave, or operate within a CTR. Mandatory. No negotiation.
I don't remember that.
Think of it as the airport's front door. You always need permission, your clearance, to go through it when you're IFR. Takeoffs, landings, transits always need that clearance. Then, surrounding or overlying the CTRs, you often have a TMA terminal maneuvering area.
A bigger area.
Much bigger, yeah. Often covers multiple airports or a very busy single one. It's designed to channel arriving and departing traffic smoothly using standard instrument departures, SIDs, and standard arrival routes, STARs.
So that's where those complex procedures often live.
That's right. Within a TMA, you'll almost certainly be following specific published routes and altitudes assigned by ATC. It manages the flow in and out of the busy areas, and connecting these terminal areas and forming the en route structure, you have CTAs or control areas.
Like airways.
Airways are often within CTAs, yes. CTAs are broader, controlled areas, maybe linking TMAs or extending along routes. Flying IFR en route usually means you're within a CTA, under ATC control, following an airway or a direct cleared route.
So CTR is the airport bubble, TMA is the busy approach-departure funnel, and CTA is the controlled en route structure linking them.
That's a pretty good way to visualize it, yes. Examiners will want the definitions, but what matters flying is knowing a CTR needs clearance, always. A TMA means following procedures, and a CTA means you're in the controlled en route system.
Okay, bringing this all together then, understanding all these classes and zones,
Yeah.
what's the real power it gives a pilot working on their BIR?
It's fundamental. It's about knowing where you need a clearance, what level of separation ATC is providing, and crucially, what responsibility remains with you, the pilot. It means you can plan properly, anticipate ATC instructions, and comply correctly. It's about safety and efficiency.
Any top tips for getting familiar with the specifics in your local area?
Absolutely. Number one, study the AIP, the Aeronautical Information Publication for the countries you fly in. That's the official source. Number two, use your charts. Both VFR and IFR charts clearly depict these airspace boundaries and classifications, visually trace your planned routes. And third, remember, Europe isn't monolithic. Procedures and specifics can vary between different FIRs, the flight information regions managed by different countries. Be ready for local differences.
So we've gone from that potentially confusing tapestry to something hopefully much clearer, a map you can actually use for your flying.
That's the goal, because honestly, getting your head around this isn't just about passing the exam questions, it's about building real confidence, knowing the rules of the road so you can navigate safely and, well, enjoy your IFR flying. It turns lines on a chart into a real understanding of the sky around you.
And that understanding is really what unlocks the freedom and capability of flying IFR, isn't it? It opens up so many possibilities for where you can go. So maybe think about that. Where will this knowledge empower your next adventure?